Hi guys, welcome back to Blue Moon Rising TV, and today we are watching and studying a masterclass in how to win in the ugliest of fashions, but a win, as a lot of moral philosophers coming out of the football grounds will say, a win is a win.
An ugly win
is a win.
We're a team full of beautiful people.
Yes.
That's what all matters there.
Winning ugly with the most beautiful
exactly,
man.
It took great pleasure putting that word next to this man.
He's never seen that word. He's laughing.
He's laughing
at the word ugly. He doesn't even understand it, actually, in English.
Because he doesn't speak English.
But he's still laughing anyway, just he finds it funny. But anyway, Burnley, probably not one of those teams that you'd think would make it difficult for you necessarily, but when you look at the stats, actually, they're a team that have done quite well this season.
Yes.
Apart from, they lost 4-0 to West Brom, which was maybe a little bit of an anomaly, and it was away from them where their home is dreadful. It's at home where they're particularly good. And they've had great results this season already, haven't they?
The stats back it up. Up until the start of November, they had the best home record in the league. Now it's about 4th or 5th, depending. I can't remember exactly where it is now, but it's in the top kind of quarter of the Premier League. Obviously, they beat Liverpool there as well, 2-0 near the start of the season. And in general, they're a good team. They're very on it at Turf Moor. And having now visited personally for the first time, I can see why. That is an old school stadium with an old school atmosphere and a very old school feel. It's a world away from the Etihad in a kind of good way, in a different way. It's just a different environment entirely, and it will play into the hands of a team that spends all its time there as opposed to the visiting outfit. So for City, it's a huge result against a very tough team, a very organised team, and a very kind of focused one. And that puts our away record now at 6 wins out of 7. Only obviously Spurs being the one hiccup there. That's the best away record in the league. And as you were saying before, if we had just won a couple of those drawn games, we'd be clear now at the top of the table.
Yeah, it's turned on its head a little bit for Manchester City. We used to be Fortress Etihad. And a little bit of that has gone away, unfortunately, and picking up draws where we should be getting wins, but we know about those stories. We know that we were the better team on almost every occasion. But at least we're picking up points away from home. Burnley, fair play to them. When you're a team that's been promoted, then that is promotion by numbers, isn't it? Win at home and then get what you can away from it. So fair play to them.
I was impressed by Burnley, even, to be honest. I thought their attitude, they didn't sit back and just defend. I didn't think they did. I thought they had tried to attack. I thought they pressed City really well. They used the width of the pitch. They really
matters and made them comfortable.
They were good. They were a good
early
team.
On. It was unsurprising that they were going to get a goal. I turned around to Alex in the stands and said, so when are they going to get that goal? And literally 2 seconds later, it came. It was. I must have said it in the 14th minute, and it went in. And but yeah, we'll get onto the fan cams now, which probably best represent the mood and what everyone was thinking. There's a mixed bag in there. Let's get onto the first one. Some contentious opinions here, as ever.
It was a hard game to watch. A hard game. Bravo, I think I would give him a 7 out of 10. Aguero played amazing like he always does for City. Sterling, bench him next time, Guardiola.
Bench Sterling?
Yep.
Alex shouting in the young boy's face there.
Bench Sterling!
As ever, yeah. Give him a proper grill. He went Paxman on him there.
He did, yeah.
But yeah, there's a few things to go at. Yeah, I'd have done the same. A few things to go at there. Tough game to watch. We'll agree there.
Yes.
Check one, okay? It was a tough game to watch. It was ugly. It was exactly as we've said here, but that's sometimes how you need to win.
Yeah.
His next point was...
You gave Bravo a 7, I think.
Bravo was...
He was all right, yeah. Bravo had a...
They can't put him... He wasn't to blame for the goal. Again, it just feels like teams stepping up when they play against City again and again and again.
Yeah.
Like these teams, us so-called inferior teams, definitely with smaller budgets than us, seem to put on the performance of their lives against City.
Yeah.
And again, they did it here. And then the final comment, Sterling. Now, what do you make about Sterling? Should he be benched?
Yes, and not for the reason many think that would be implied. I actually think he just deserves a rest now. I think he looks a bit jaded and a little bit tired from what has been a pretty good start to the season. Still a lot of expectation on him. We still have the Burnley fans singing "He let his country down," which is obviously a load of just stupid nonsense. Grow up, genuinely grow up.
It's one of the worst chants
I've ever
heard. Yeah. I didn't expect that from a proper Lancashire northern club to be singing "You let your country down."
It's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
On so many levels.
That's a small kind of example of the criticism and hatred he gets from fans every single week. And he's been a shining light so far for us this season. He's been brilliant. And like every other player, he's allowed a dip in form. And I think his dip in form now comes from just being so pivotal. Just a great run of games, lots of fixtures. It's obviously getting towards the winter months. It's cold, it's dark, it's miserable. And he's human. And I think he deserves a rest. And look at the likes of De Bruyne and Silva. They were a little bit tired and a little bit jaded against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Players have natural dips in form when they play a lot of games. It is totally human. It's totally normal. And I think what he needs now, if anything, he needs a little bit of a rest. I don't think it'll happen at the Chelsea game because I think he's probably too important. But after that, I would take the risk of not playing Sterling just to give him a couple of games out, just to focus his mind, just to sharpen the senses a little bit, and just kind of assess his own performances, because when it all happens thick and fast, you don't get a chance to sit there and be self-critical. And I think he needs that. I think he needs to just basically get a little bit of focus back.
We can afford it at the minute because we've got no game midweek this week. We've got Chelsea, okay, that's a huge game. And then we've got a dead rubber in the midweek against Celtic. So it's can't think of a more suitable time to give Sterling a rest that he needs. Let us know what you think. It did feel like a little bit like Sterling of last season, a lot with the chance, because he hasn't had that much of it this season so far.
He did a Navas, didn't he?
There was a throwback.
He dawdled a bit at one pass as well.
Say that again.
He did a Navas at one point as well when he dawdled massively.
Yeah. There was a lot of hesitation. That reminded me a little bit of last season when he was getting into dangerous areas. And then, whereas earlier in the season he might have done a step over, we saw those goals when he took players on, left them on their arse, and then scored, and that doesn't seem quite there. But yeah, he's allowed a dip in form, and I'm sure every City fan watching this will agree. Shall we get on to the next fan cam then?
I've been looking for goals like that. Sick of trying to walk the ball in the net. Kick the ball in the net when it's on the line. 2-1, happy days. Get in there.
Is this what we need? A comeback and a scrappy win and a little bit of character?
This is the way days.
Especially when he's not got De Bruyne and the likes of like De Bruyne and Silva in the team. Happy days. 2-1 win.
It's hard to concentrate on what you're saying because you've got. This is what away days are all about, by the way.
Away days are amazing.
Yeah.
I went along with Alex and Paul, and it's just one of the best days of our ages. It was class.
He's made a vlog about it, so make sure you go over to his esteemed company and go and check that out as well.
It's good fun.
But yeah, away days at Turf Moor, exactly what you want. They're an old school ground, and that's what makes it intimidating. And it's not too far. Everyone has a few drinks on the coach there, as you can see. But yeah, he was saying basically along with the title of this, which is about just getting the ball in the back of the net, and just Aguero, who people are saying has not been in a rich vein of form, which is true. You said the same.
Yeah.
And I'm inclined to agree.
Got some criticism for it as soon as he scored.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're setting yourself up, aren't you? But he scored two pretty ugly goals, and I don't think he knew much about either of them, really. One of them definitely bounced in off his leg.
Yeah.
But that's fine. And, sometimes that's what you need. And he looked actually like a different player once that goal went in.
Oh, he's
Aguero is a confidence player, isn't he?
Totally. He looks a yard faster second he scored, because all of a sudden he was twisting and turning in the edge of the area and curly one towards the top corner.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's crazy how something just switches on in the head. He's only human.
We are human, yeah, exactly.
Aguero, as we all probably said, and I think Guardiola knows this, isn't necessarily the most confident of players. There's always loads of quotes coming out during the Copa America where he was questioning his own ability and all this kind of stuff, and saying sometimes I feel
comparing
like a
himself
crap
to
player.
Messi, basically. I imagine
it's awful having Messi as your best mate, because it's like, as good as you are, it's like,
he could have picked anyone as a best mate, and he'd have been a better footballer by default. But he happens to be the best player in the world. So
a constant inferiority complex. But the one thing as well you mentioned at the end this Jan is we didn't play De Bruyne and Silva and we won. And that's a wider point that I genuinely like about what Guardiola's doing this season. Now, last season, cast your mind back to around October, November, we had an absolute glut of injuries. And that was because we were playing our strongest team in every game, regardless. We were beating Sheffield Wednesday 7-0 with our strongest team a couple of years back. It's like, why are we doing that at home at the Etihad?
Did we put somebody like Pozo on in the 70th minute?
Yeah, and he scored. And then last season as well, we beat a Sunderland 5-1 in the Carling Cup. It was over our strongest team against a team massively changed by Sunderland. You can't play your strongest team every week. I know we all want it, but you just can't. You plan ahead. You don't react to injuries. You prevent them. You don't treat them. You prevent them from happening. Yeah. And that's why the likes of Stones, Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan, that's why all these players aren't playing.
I mean, it's strong to see, and you can see the point that Guardiola's making when Stones and Gundogan don't even make the bench. Yeah. So he's quite adamant that these players need a rest.
Yes.
And Stones, he's such a great player, but there's so much pressure on him right now. He's such a young lad. Yet he is the heart of our defence.
That's a tactical thing as well, and a mental thing. It's man management that the Stones. I don't think he's even tiredness. I think it's because he did have he's had a little bit of criticism recently, made the odd mistake, and he will do. He's a young lad at a new club. He will make mistakes.
Yeah.
And he's still learning a new style. So when you do that, you just take the pressure off him, take him out of the limelight a little bit, and by not putting him in the squad, what he's saying is, that is not a potential distraction. You are literally got one job, is just to focus on yourself as an individual. It's there, and there's no way you're going to be involved. He's basically removing a potential problem by just having him not there.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's protecting him. And it always seems to be that England, when City players play for England, we come out of it and they get an absolute hammering, probably rightly in a lot of cases. Sterling's not played well for England. Joe Hart didn't play well for England over the summer, and Stones had a couple of blunders as well. And I don't know whether... I think they are the players that everybody loves to hate. They've got a massive price tag. So when Sterling, for example, picks up an injury just before the international break, it doesn't surprise me that he decided that he doesn't feel like doing it. Because at some point you're going to have to say, well, if you're going to give me grief all the time, then why bother?
Exactly, yeah.
So I think there's a few players there who could do with picking up a couple of injuries on the way.
It's good.
Anyway.
It's just good to see a calculated risk like this, resting our players because they look leggy and they look tired, and having the squad, and using someone like Fernando, so I have to give him a shout out because I thought Fernando was excellent
second
the other day.
string
having
players.
Yaya now as a backup, having Fernandinho there, having these players who can step in and have a whole second choice midfield, so to speak, apart from Fernandinho obviously, and it still works, and that's great. In my opinion, that's the best thing he's done so far this season, Guardiola, mixing it up and actually getting away with it in a good way.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got to say Yaya Toure. Not an amazing game, but a very solid game.
Yeah, I thought
liked him.
I thought some of the stuff
he's so confident on the ball. We were saying during the game, weren't we? It's just
quality still.
He's the best player we've got on the ball, I would say.
Yeah.
Still. If you need that pass, if you need that through ball, I know David Silva's got a deft pass, but Yaya Toure just seems is more direct.
He isn't the player he once was in terms of his pace and ability and whatever, but he still has that touch. It's the amount of times we got the ball in tight situations and little 1-2s give and goes, and it's the way to pass. He sees things that others just simply don't, and he would always see that as well. I can imagine him going to like the MLS in a year and just ripping it up over there if he wanted to.
Yaya Toure, we see things you'll never see, never before. Better soon.
Here's something that you'll never see again.
Right, a local, absolute legend from Manchester City. Todge, as she's known.
If you know what that means, get in the comments.
Here we go. But no, absolute hero. And she was loving this game, and rightly so. Go for it.
A big, valuable 3 points. We needed that because December is a hard month. Liverpool, Leicester, Chelsea and Arsenal and Hull away all in December. They are a big 3 points, guys. Absolutely buzzing. Fantastic. Thank you.
She's buzzing and she's really happy. Understandably, and so was I straight after that game. There was a bit of a riot going on after, during and before this. People singing songs to her, etc. But she was saying that she's a massive fan of ours, and we're a massive fan of her as well, to be perfectly honest.
Cheers, Jackie.
But yeah, and what she said was bob on. We have got a tough December. We've got a tough set of fixtures coming up, and we've got to have those points in the bank. And if we can come out of December, I know everybody says, don't they, 1st of January, have a look at what the league looks like then, and then you can really have a good idea of...
It's a tough league this year, isn't it?
It's depressingly tough.
Everyone wants it, and usually the good thing about that is that it keeps everyone on the toes, because everyone knows how important every game is, because you cannot slip up, you can't rest on your laurels, because if you do, you're 5 points behind Chelsea or Liverpool or whatever.
You look at Chelsea, they're not playing in the Champions League. Okay, you can say he's got a new manager the same as us, but they've got
Liverpool aren't,
exactly, Liverpool aren't as well. You look at the results that we've had off the back of the Champions League games as well. This weekend was an exception that we won. It's the first game we've won off the back of a midweek game in the Champions League. We've drawn 2 and lost 1. So it's showing you the pressure that we're putting under, and that's why Guardiola needed to mess things up. United, they've broken the world transfer record.
10 points behind us.
And they are, so far behind us. As you said, they're closer to the relegation zone than they are to Manchester City, which is hilarious. Arsenal, the years and years and years of building up a team. It's not like Arsene Wenger's it's in his first season, the same as us. All of these teams have got their own individual things that's giving them an edge, and we've just got to try and keep it up as well, and I'm sure we can.
It's impressive, in my opinion, genuinely, that we're 1 point behind Chelsea and Liverpool, because they both had, if you ask their fans are buzzing with their starts. They're absolutely delighted, and we probably have tempered our expectations a little bit because of that slight run, yet we're still only 1 point behind him, and we're playing an extra game a week till these teams are playing. It is exponentially harder for us at the moment than it is for Chelsea and Liverpool. That is just a fact. Playing more games is harder, it's more difficult. They've got a week every week to kind of hone their players. Basically, physically, that training ground time is gold for any manager worth the salt. The likes of Klopp, Guardiola, Conte, these are training ground managers who get in the heads of their players. That extra preparation time is absolute gold for them. And we're not getting that because we're playing midweek. I'm not complaining because I want to be in the Champions League and we're doing very well there, but it does make life difficult. And the fact that we're only 1 point behind them and everything is still very much in our hands, we've had a great start. When you balance it out over the course of the season, it's been a brilliant start. It just so happens we're in a highly competitive league now. This is possibly the most competitive I've seen it, probably. I don't know. In distant memory, I cannot remember anything like this at the moment.
Yeah, no. Definitely, I'm up there with you saying that as well. Last season, so many teams underperformed, ourselves included, and that's helped Leicester to be able to run away with it. And now everyone seems to be firing on all cylinders, extra focused. And I think if you could probably say any team, maybe not Arsenal, but any team would swap to be in our position right now. 1 point off the top. Safely into the next round of the Champions League, just beat Barcelona, and everything's looking pretty rosy off the back of a win. So, we are, most teams, although we're not quite there, we're just 1 point off, but a lot of teams are looking at us and thinking we're doing really well this season.
Chelsea Liverpool fans will be happy because they're above us, technically, but, they're not in Champions League, so life's a little bit better for them. I think you'd still want to be...
would swap with us, actually, to be fair. I think Liverpool... because they've gone so long, without winning the season, winning the league, I should say, that they would take not being in the Champions League and that giving them that extra push at the Premier League. So they're going to be very happy with that. They are desperate, as we all are to an extent, but them probably more so to win the league, and because they've gone 20 odd years or whatever it is without winning it.
It's that year.
So it's that year. It's that year. Anyway, that is the end of our Fancam reactions. Manchester City won ugly. We got an important win, and it's changed the complexion of everything. Yeah, bigger than probably you or I know. When it comes to the end of the season, we might be thanking the Lord, the gods that we got these points.
Burnley, and that's impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Aguero did a Burnley on Burnley. Anyway, Aguero. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like, comment,
I had a weekend
subscribe.
of his Burnley impressions.
You did Burnley accents all weekend. You had to be there, really. Anyway, do all that stuff, and we will see you for something on tomorrow. See you in a bit.
See you later.